Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about why your ex says they lost feelings for you.
This can be so painful.
You know, it's often not what you're thinking and feeling, and so it can be really confusing. But if your ex told you that they don't have feelings for you anymore, that is one of the most painful things you could possibly hear. It is just such a devastating feeling to feel like, oh my gosh, this person doesn't love me anymore. They don't care about me anymore. And what it feels like for you is that when they say this, it means I'm done with you forever. But in many cases, that is not what will actually happen. But if you misunderstand this and you handle it the wrong way, it can make things a lot worse, and it could seriously decrease the chances of turning this around.
Right. And it's important to understand because sometimes we get so caught up in our own feelings. You're feeling confused. You're trying to wrap your head around things. You're feeling really rejected and desperate for answers. You're replaying everything in your head. You're trying to figure out what you did wrong, wondering how someone can just turn off their feelings like the flip of a switch. And so you can be so caught up in what you're feeling and what you're going through and what your emotions are telling you and the narrative that your emotions are telling you that it can be hard to kind of step back and see things from their perspective or any other perspective.
Yeah, and a lot of times we actually forget some of the things they told us or the complaints that they had because we're so anxious and we're in like that fog.
Yeah. So you can be feeling like, okay, they don't care, or, now they're gone and they're never coming back. So you can give yourself this immense amount of terror based on how they're feeling in the moment. And a lot of times when exes kind of say these concrete, kind of extreme sounding things, like I've lost feelings, or I just don't feel the same way about you, or I don't see a future, they'll say things that sound like a very solid end. And we can become so convinced that they're not going to come back, that because they're in the state where they don't have feelings anymore, that they've just kind of forgotten about you. We could become so convinced of that.
Like it's a factual thing. Like it's a math equation, then it will never deviate from that equation.
Right. Because our brain likes to think in concrete ways. We like predictability. We like to have a sense of we know what's going to happen. So we'd sometimes have that concreteness and we stick to it as confused as we are. And we kind of prepare ourselves for the worst case scenario without thinking about all the other possibilities that could happen. We kind of get into this limited type of thinking.
So when your ex tells you something like they've lost feelings for you, it feels like this is a permanent thing. This is it forever. But remember, feelings fluctuate, feelings change. Sometimes feelings get suppressed, right? Depending upon what's going on with them. Maybe there is a shift on the relationship dynamic because there was some emotional safety loss. They don't feel safe with you anymore or something like that. Sometimes it's pressure from one person to the other, or attachment triggers, attachment issues come up. But feelings don't just necessarily disappear. They can get buried under different emotions, or they can just fluctuate and go up and down with, an attraction level too.
Right. So here's what the lost feelings can mean if there were more to the sentence than just I lost feelings. So it can also mean I feel incredibly overwhelmed. It can also mean I feel really resentful for having been neglected or for hurt in the relationship, and I don't know how to move past that, and that's blocking my attraction for you. That's blocking my ability to connect with you.
Yeah, you could be angry.
Yeah, and it's really hard. Well, unless you're a little freaky, but it can be hard to have that kind of attraction to someone that you're angry with and trying to create distance from.
That's a whole different community.
It is. Now, we also know that, if a relationship is kind of the same every day, there can be a mundaneness to it. And sometimes conflict can, play with attraction and that kind of energy too. That's why I say that.
Sure.
Because sometimes, there could be an argument, but then the repair can feel really good and that can be really intense and enticing. So that's why I say that. But typically when you're feeling angry with someone, you want a distance from them and you're trying to protect yourself. You're not in a, hey, let's collaborate and let's connect kind of mode. You're in a, I need to protect myself. This person is attacking me now.
Yep.
And so that can interfere with feelings. It can also mean I feel very pressured, or I am afraid of the future, or I don't feel emotionally safe with you. I don't feel like I can open up and be vulnerable. And that's affecting feelings, because if I can't be my authentic self, then we can't really connect. It could also be attachment dynamics. It could be my avoidance is triggered or my anxiety is triggered. So a lot of factors go into feelings, and this kind of blanket statement that Next gives you of I've lost feelings, if we dig a little bit deeper, can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people.
Yep. It's not as simple as the feelings are just gone and they won't come back. A lot of times it has to do with all these different things, and it hurts the attraction level. For some people, when things get too intense emotionally, they shut down. They can't handle that much closeness or vulnerability. They didn't grow up in a home where it felt okay to talk about those things, so they naturally pull away or push away if they have to. Instead of working through those things, which is what a healthy adult does, they need to shut down and disconnect. And for you, it makes you kind of question, did they really care? If they cared more, why wouldn't they try and work through this? And it makes you wonder if they ever really felt something for you. But it's often not the case. Now, sometimes it is the case, we're not going to say, but we're saying in general, when you often have two people that care about each other and they really mean it, a lot of it can be just that somebody's overwhelmed.
And many of us can take full responsibility for how our ex is feeling. If our ex says to us, hey, I've lost feelings, now we're saying it is my sole responsibility to make this person feel like they're on fire in this relationship. I need to act. I need to do all of these things to reignite the emotion in this relationship. And this can lead to a really huge mistake, which is overdoing it. And I see this so often with clients where, their ex might be pulling away or feeling uncertain, or the attraction is impacted and affected. And so you go into overdrive of, oh my gosh, now I need to get this reassurance from them to make sure the relationship isn't falling apart. Now I need to do everything for them. And now the dynamic is completely off, right? Because now you're in this position where you're begging, whether literally or, with your actions, right? Showing, hey, I need you. I need this kind of reassurance to feel okay. And I want so badly for you to like me and for things to go well, that this in itself ends up feeling like pressure to your ex.
Yep. Over texting, trying to convince, let's talk about it. All those things, handwritten letters. We see that one a lot, all those things. But you can't talk somebody back into having feelings for you.
Yeah.
Right. But, when you're going through it, it feels kind of hopeless, like it's never going to turn around. You just kind of feel like it's this permanent thing. And, for some cases, you won't hear from your ex again. We always say that. We got to focus on personal growth, how we can grow, what the issues are, and what we can do to turn things around if they reach out, so we can really repair the situation.
Right. And just because things don't feel super passionate right now doesn't mean that won't change. We have to respect the breakup. We cannot force someone into loving us. We can't make someone do anything. We have to be willing to create some space there in order to fix the dynamic, in order to respect our partner, in order to give them that time to reflect. And so you have to think about, what your knee-jerk reaction is, which is to overwhelm them, do grand gestures, get that reassurance. So we kind of have to work against that.
It's our instinct.
Yes, it's our instinct to want to
instinct.
connect. But we have to use our ears and be willing to listen, more so than just do what our first gut reaction is.
Our gut reaction in these cases are often the opposite of what we need to do. So what do we actually do that can help? What can help turn things around when you're feeling desperate?
You got to let things breathe first and foremost. So we talk a lot about no contact on the channel. We have tons and tons and tons of videos on no contact where we talk about giving space. We also want to remove that pressure because likely they are feeling that pressure to be a certain way in the relationship or to be all in. And in them saying, hey, I've lost feelings, that's their attempt at honesty. We have to be willing to respect that. They are not feeling it right now, and that's what's happening. So we have to be willing to accept that reality.
Yep.
Giving time for emotions to settle and allowing that curiosity to rebuild.
That doesn't happen overnight.
Nope. And all of this falls under the category of very simply giving them space.
Yep. Attraction doesn't grow in pressure or under pressure. It will grow again when that pressure is removed and you're focusing on leveling up in no contact. So when they see you again, they're like, wow, I cannot believe how much you've grown. You haven't been depressed eating Cheetos every day. You've been really changing who you are, and they don't want to miss out on this amazing version of you, that the ideal version of you, that you've gotten that new job that you wanted, or you've been into hobbies and interests, or you're maybe getting yourself in better shape, or you're working on your emotional issues and you're more confident. All of those things can help spark up the attraction again. So just because your exes, they've lost feelings for you, do not assume that it will stay that way forever. Do the work in no contact, allow them to reach out when they're ready, and then when they do, you want to present to them a more confident version of yourself that they can naturally feel attracted to.
Yeah. And I'll also add, a lot of times I see this when you are not in your own element. A lot of times we lose ourselves in relationships and we can't even recognize ourselves. So we move away from the things that we care about, that we enjoy, our social circle. And that can really impact attraction. We become very complacent, not only in the relationship, but with ourselves. So I would take this as an opportunity, hearing these words from somebody that cares about us, that they've lost feelings, for you to reconnect with yourself.
Yep.
We are most attractive when we are most authentic and in our element. So just remember that as you go through this. It can be really painful to hear that from a partner, but think about the ways that you may have lost yourself. So this could be, a reintroduction to yourself.
Feelings change like the clouds that move across the sky. So you want to be ready for when that weather changes, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Hopefully this one's been helpful to you. If you'd like to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.